Bolt your windows. Lock your doors. Check your closets. Look under your bed. And then prepare yourself. For it's another episode of Dark Knight of the Podcast. Whoa!
All right, fellow homosexuals, let's get right down to brass tacks. Okay, we know why you're here. We're not going to give you any frills this week. Troy and I aren't going to talk about our personal lives or bullshit about what's going on in our relationships. We're just going right to it. We have a guest, and I want to get right to the point. Troy, do you want to announce him?
Sure. We are very lucky to have this gentleman join our little podcast endeavor. We have the one and only Mike Joseph from... Do
you prefer Mikey or Mike? Let's get
I honestly don't have a preference. Okay. So whatever you guys want to do, I'm good with whatever.
Troy, finish what you're saying.
Well, we know you from social media. So on social media, you're Mikey. So we'll stick with that. But anyways, we want to welcome from the cult hit, the festival darling film that's taking the indie horror community by storm, really. I mean, this film's gotten you guys some great press. Death Drop Gorgeous. We welcome Mikey to our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
We're excited to have you.
Of course.
We're super excited to just talk to you in the aspect of having watched this project grow for you, and over the last year from the time it hit festivals to now it's hitting the mainstream, and it's being acknowledged by the mainstream. I think that's what all of us as indie filmmakers want. And for you guys to get that with this is your freshman project, correct?
Yeah, we circumvented the whole short thing too. We just went straight to a feature.
Your first thing, you just nailed it. How does that feel? A lot of people, I think they're always there's a learning curve, and we'll get one eventually. And you fuckers just came right out of the gate, and you're you know what, fuck it, we're gonna make something awesome, and people are gonna respond, and they did. And what are some of the platforms that have recently shared your film?
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm not going to pretend that Death Drop Gorgeous wasn't a learning curve, because it certainly was, and we definitely learned a lot. But right now, we were in the New York Times, which was kind of insane. We had this really great interview with Rue Morgue that I really love. We were on Fangoria. So yeah, it's been kind of silly. I hate just using the same words surreal, but I don't know how else to describe it.
Oh no, for sure. That totally makes sense.
Yeah. So it's been very, very insane and surreal, but really exciting.
Yeah. Oh my God, absolutely. I'm sure it must be super thrilling. And I know you guys are already working on your next project, but that's to be coming off of something that's already got eyes on it right away, has this amount of attention, that there's going to be a level of expectation for your next project. People are going to be awaiting your next project, and that has to be super fucking exciting. But also just having seen the promo material that you've dropped for Saint Drogo, you guys have Troy and I talk about this all the time. There's a goal of each project. The goal is to one up yourself from the last one and exceed the expectations you set for yourself with the previous project. And already looking at the promo material, the visual quality, light years better. Just the aesthetic, there's definitely a vision in it. Is nothing like your last film. Hats off to you boys. I love watching the journey that you guys are going on, but it does have to be thrilling, and you have to be very proud.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the reception we're getting with Death Drop Gorgeous, because Drogo for a little bit, that's the next project, Saint Drogo, was sort of in stasis, at least in the summer, because one, we kind of accomplished everything we could with whatever money we had left over. And also the movie takes place in the winter. So we kind of needed to wait for the winter to return. But seeing the reception for Death Drop has only like kind of like invigorated me to get back to it, because I actually right now just want to get Drogo done, not because I'm like tired of it, because I just want to get to that next step of having people see it and having it be out there. But yeah, we definitely learned a lot with Death Drop, so we wanted to showcase that with our next project. So visually, we definitely, and on like a technical level, have definitely improved. And I think storytelling, we became better storytellers. It's a lot. The through line is a lot more like clear. It's a lot less like when we were making Death Drop, we were like drinking whiskey and just like throwing shit around and like having fun, and we didn't necessarily have this long-term plan that we would even actually shoot it. Like we were just kind of like writing. And so now with knowing that we wanted to make Saint Drogo in mind, we were like a little more aware of what we were writing.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna go off of Roger. Everything that I've seen so far from Saint Drogo looks just stunning. The cinematography, the imagery, it is really refreshing when you see a filmmaker or filmmakers that do up the ante with each film and aren't afraid to do something different than what's probably expected. Because when you make a film like Death Drop Gorgeous, which is pure camp, but camp in the funnest way possible, over the top, just crazy over the top. I think me, was one of the first people to maybe see it, because you guys submitted it to Houston Horror Film Festival a year. I mean, it's been over a year ago.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it and just this big old grin on my face. And I told my partner with the film festival, Tony, who runs the festival with me, I told him, this film, you got to watch this if you haven't watched it yet, because it is just a blast, and it's something I've never seen before. So you have to take that into account when you're making a second film, because people are going to maybe expect the same thing. And while you kind of want to give it to them, because fans of Death Drop Gorgeous obviously are fans of that movie because it is campy and over the top, but you guys aren't afraid to just totally do something 180 degrees different to show your growth, to show that you're versatile as filmmakers.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that. I see so many indie filmmakers get stuck in a rut, and I don't know if it's purposeful or if it's just they're not comfortable getting out of their comfort level, that they never grow. They just keep churning out the same things over and over. I'm speaking about myself. No, I'm just, but well, people are probably going to say that so he needs to shut up because all his films are, but you know what I mean. So.
Yeah, no, the when we've been doing interviews for Death Drop, one of the most common questions we're getting is like, is there a sequel? And like, honestly, there isn't. Like, we haven't, like, we joke about it, and obviously we set it up in such a way that like there could be a sequel or there could be a prequel sequel or whatever, but it's just not on the table right now. And not because we don't love the project, but it's just like we need to have, our hearts need to be in it. And I think to be honest, like, I don't watch a lot of camp horror. Like, I don't watch, like, I love John Waters movies, but that's not necessarily camp horror. That's just like trash cinema. But I don't watch a lot of camp horror, so I always want to sort of at least, I don't know. So that was a challenge for me. Chris Delpy, who's the other co-creator, really loves comedy horror, and I think that's where a lot of those elements came from him. But yeah, no, we did take a risk, like doing a sort of like a slow burn folk horror for Saint Drogo. I was watching a lot of like 1970s horror too at the time, so it'll definitely be tonally different, which is a little bit of a risk that I'm like kind of nervous about, but still exciting.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's funny that you said that about the sequel, because actually I had posted, that I was watching House of the Devil and that you were going to be the guest on the podcast, and someone actually messaged me, they'll know who I'm talking about, and asked me to ask you if there was going to be a sequel. So that's really funny that you bring that up as a frequently asked question, because someone's like, oh, you need to ask them if there's going to be a sequel. But also I have to say a huge cheer to gay filmmakers making gay films. Okay, that is another conversation that I've had with Roger many times. Is there are so many It seems like, well, gay horror fans in general, but also gay filmmakers that are making horror films. But not a lot of them are actually doing gay themed films. And so it's really cool to see you guys just come out of the gate and be, oh, we're doing gay themed films. We're gay filmmakers. We're going to go right into that. I kind of did the sort of the same thing, but my films got progressively gayer. Like my first film, Party Night, was not gay at all. Then Stirring and Mrs. Claus had a gay character, and then Teacher Shortage is gay. And my next film is like super gay. So you gotta, there's an audience, and I'm surprised more gay filmmakers haven't, played into the audience that's there.
I think we're actually doing the opposite of you. I think
you're de-gayifying
we started really gay with Death Drop Gorgeous, and Saint Drogo's still pretty gay, but it's maybe a little less like, I don't know, like over the
in
top.
Your face.
And then and then our third film, which we know we're going to do, is called Queen of the Rats, which we do want to tackle after Saint Drogo. And there's queer elements in Queen of the Rats, but it's definitely not as gay. We're just going backwards.
One thing I've thought was really refreshing is because I was just doing a little research on like some of the reception you guys have been getting, because there is like a lot of positive word of mouth. Like we're talking about the queer fan base, and I think they've been craving something like this. Like there's such a gays and outcasts and just the dregs of society. All of us minorities. I think we tend to gravitate towards the horror genre because it always revolves around those kinds of characters. It accepted us before any other genre did, so I think that's why we all cling to it. And I think they've been waiting for a film in this vein, and that's why they're so positive about it, and it's giving them everything that they want, But I also find it refreshing that I was listening to a review that a podcast did on Death Drop Gorgeous, and it's a bunch of straight guys, and the one guy basically, like he says, I'm not necessarily going to seek a movie like this out, but if you're going to bring me into your world, bring me into your world. And this movie successfully brought me into that world. There are drag queens in like grocery stores. like it is every cop is gay. Like everything about it is gay. And he's like, honestly, I fucking loved it. And this is like a straight dude. And I'm like, this is when you've hit that perfect like level of like, if you're going to just embrace it, like you said, John Waters, his early movies became cult classics, but when they first came out, they were like kind of taboo. People weren't watching them. It wasn't until he started to mainstreamify a little bit, and you get the Hairsprays and his bigger titles, that he really became known to public knowledge. And I think what you guys did is you found that perfect balance of like that John Waters weirdness, but also like everything that's big in the mainstream right now. Like it's still gory. You've got drag queens. Every fucking woman and her sister loves a drag queen. Like it's just you've got something for everybody that they're going to be receptive to, and I think you guys just did a really good job of finding that balance and giving us a mainstream gay indie film.
Yeah, we really wanted to marry those two worlds because, like, I mean, obviously with 3 writers and 3 directors, all our influences are kind of being poured into sort of this like melting pot. Like Brandon's like the 80s slasher gore fan, so like that's where we got like all of the fucking disgusting moments from, and then Chris is bringing like the comedy, and I think just like us all like having a say in how it played out definitely created sort of this smorgasbord of nonsense. But yeah, I remember listening to that podcast because I remember like we very distinctly were made the executive decision like drag queens will never be out of drag in this movie, except in like the one bathtub moment, which if anyone's listening, I'm not going to spoil it, but we were very specific, like, okay, this will be like the stripped down, the single stripped down moment for a drag queen. And yeah, so we wanted to create sort of like, we wanted to make the nightlife in the film feel almost like a fantasy land, like feel almost kind of like unreal. And that's where, we get your Jalo lighting, and we get like these over the top drag queens and these like absurd performances. And then we wanted to make the daytime very drab and like kind of like depressing and like Old West looking. And I think I think like queer spaces do feel kind of magical to us and do sort of feel like a fantasy land because it's like this sort of it's like an escape for a lot of folks to get to like a bar or a club and like they get to live out what they've been waiting like the entire week to do. So yeah, we wanted to make sure if we were taking you into this world, we were going to make it as colorful and ridiculous as possible.
You know, they use the term a lot just in the gay culture of like Friends of Dorothy. And just in a specific moment when you're talking about this, I think of the moment in The Wizard of Oz where the house like lands and she's walking through the black and white and she opens the door and it's like that Technicolor, like,
yeah.
homosexuality. And like, it just, but like, it makes that term make a lot of sense. And you're absolutely right about these venues. They almost become like, they become like an alternate reality. And it is like heightened reality. And like, Death Drop Gorgeous does such a good job of like, just, I mean, bam, you hit the audience with it. Like everything is like a gay bar on like, I hate to say on cocaine, but like on cocaine, like which probably was. But like, I mean, I love it. Yeah, you guys did such a great job of just really like, if it's someone who's not normally in that scene, they're going to want to be in that scene. And it's super enjoyable. If anyone listening to this has not seen Death Drop Gorgeous, you can get it on all kinds of major streaming services. Give us a few of them, Mikey.
Yeah, it's on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play. Oh God, if you go to, so our distributor is Dark Star Pictures. They have a whole link tree of everywhere you can watch it, and there's much more that I'm missing. Xfinity or something, I have no idea.
It's easy to find right now, basically.
Yeah, essentially it's in most things. And I think we're also getting DVDs as well. So if people want DVDs,
yeah, you fucking better. I mean, this is one that
you need to own it. I need to own it. Yeah.
I need to have a hard copy of it.
It's a great way to start October.
It's also going to be a great way to start June for Pride Month too. So I have plenty of time throughout the year I'd want to knock this movie out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was gonna say there's also like weirdly like Christmas themes in it, so it's also great for Christmas.
It's a film for all seasons.
All seasons.
It's a film for all seasons. But and then just while we're on it, also just I want to remind everybody that the crowdfunder for Saint Drogo is currently live. What date do people have until to donate?
So
to
actually, Indiegogo has this sort of option where you can just kind of like leave it open, which is kind of weird and crazy. And the only reason why we're doing that is if like folks find out about it after, because one of the things we learned making Death Drop Gorgeous, like I said, it was a learning curve, was all the post-production costs that suddenly appear and you're like, oh, that's 10 grand we didn't account for. And so we're just going to leave it open, and should like someone stumble upon Death Drop Gorgeous and want to see what we're doing and then want to support the next thing, it'll still be up and running. But even money is tough right now for a lot of folks. So even just sharing the link is like super helpful. We got like a little teaser concept video up there that we're really excited for people to see. So yeah.
Oh, and it looks great. I mean, honestly, what you guys have up there already looks great. I urge anyone listening to go check it out. And yeah, I think that's really smart to keep your donations open, because I think you're going to see just a continued surge of attention now that your movie technically just hit. When did it drop?
September, I think it was September 10th. It was a Friday. It was the same Friday that Malignant dropped. So,
I just watched that last night.
So the same Friday Malignant dropped, we also became available. So yeah, I think it was September 10th. So it's only been a couple 3 weeks or so. I guess we're at the end of September.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, we're going into the season. Like, if anyone wants to watch a movie like Death Drop Gorgeous, it's going to be right now. So you guys got perfect timing with that. But I mean, hey, with that being said, gentlemen, I have literally all week been like chomping at the bit to talk about our selection this week with you. I mean, with you, Troy, to begin with, because we always have fun. But Mikey, I know you said this title is like one that you really appreciate, and I feel the same way. And I think we're going to have a really good conversation. I'm super excited.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So guys, in case anyone listening is not aware somehow, some way, we are going to dive deep into our review this week, and the title is The House of the Devil. It's a 2009 indie gem, directed by Ty West, whom I love.
Absolutely. One of my favorite indie horror directors by far.
Yeah, and even like another reason I love him is because he has like a small part in the movie You're Next,
You're
and even
next.
that, I'm like,
Yeah.
I love him for that. I love him
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
the
Well, I
innkeepers.
mean, it's sort of like, it's sort of like the Death Drop Gorgeous crew. It's like there's a little group of those guys that work together all the time. It's him, AJ Bowen, um, yeah, LC Holt. They all work together. So yeah, yeah, yeah. But and AJ Bowen is in House of the Devil.
AJ Bowen, who is a Ty West staple, and when you look at AJ Bowen's resume, like I sometimes forget how much I just like him because of his credits. Because he also You're Next, and he's got a great role in You're Next. He's in The Signal. I don't know if you guys remember that
I
movie, The
do. Yeah,
Signal.
that's a good movie.
Yeah, it's really really good. The Sacrament, obviously.
That's my favorite Ty West movie. I'm sorry. I love The House of the Devil, but Sacrament edges it out just a tad, just a tad.
I get it. I get it. Mikey, when did you like become familiar with this title? Like, and honestly, why did you choose this title? Like, I would like to hear what about this film really captured you.
Oh gosh. Well, 2009 is when it came out, but I don't think I saw it that when it came out. I feel like I saw it like years later, and I think it was actually Brandon, my co-creator, who introduced it to me. Um, as because when we were talking about making Death Trap Gorgeous, it was like 2000. I forget what year it was. It was a long time ago. But one of the things we were talking about is sort of the lack at the time of like horror movies we really loved. And I remember this was one he really loved and he suggested to me. And I watched it and I just thought it was done like it's just I don't know, it's just done so well. Like so many aspects of it are so fascinating. And when I was reading up about it, I was like, this was made in 2009. Like I feel like it's still like great for today. Like definitely ahead of its time, despite the fact that it like takes place in the 80s. And yeah, I just remember being blown away at the pacing of it, the like how it's like this very drawn out slow burn, but you know like it's going to be bad. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I think it's just great all around. I think probably of the Ty West movies I've seen is my favorite. I did enjoy The Sacrament. I liked The Innkeepers a lot. I felt that The Innkeepers started off a lot stronger than it ended. Um, but with House of the Devil, I just think it's like tens across the board.
Have you seen his first film called The Roost?
I have not seen that, but I
Okay.
think is it? I feel like Brandon's also talked to me about that one, but I haven't seen it.
It's pretty fun. Tom Noonan is in it, and he actually is like the narrator of the film, and it's
Oh,
just this
okay.
very like sort of like creep show esque. It's like a segment you would find in like a creep show movie, but it's drawn out into a feature length film about a group of kids on their way to a concert, and they get their car breaks down, and they go seek help at like this abandoned farm that is overrun by bats that have like a disease like that rabies that turn you into like literally a zombie. It's
Oh
pretty
wow.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's another very slow burn. It takes a while to get to the ending, but that's just his
Yeah,
style. So if you get a chance, check it out. But this was
for
his, I
sure.
think, his second film. This was the one he did after The Roost, and it definitely ups, like we talked about, ups his game quite a bit. Um, because you watch this film and it looks like it's the 80s. I mean,
Oh yeah.
everything in this film looks like that. The attention to detail to make it look like the 80s is astonishing. I mean, you see, there was like this period I want to say like in the early 2010s, maybe about 10 years ago, where you saw a lot of these like 80s. They claim to be like 80s throwbacks style films, but they really didn't look it.
Hmm.
This one does. This one
Yeah,
does it right.
yeah, it does it in a way that like it also doesn't feel like pastiche. Like it doesn't feel like cheap about it. Like I actually felt it really decided to immerse itself in the aesthetic of it, but not in a way that just felt superficial.
Well, it's yeah, it's a lot of the camera work is very much what you would see in the 70s and 80s. And yeah, it's just I mean, even right from the opening shot, you get our lead character Samantha, played by Jocelyn Donahue. Yeah, it's just she's checking out a little apartment off campus, And I totally forgot that Dee Wallace was in this movie. Totally forgot.
Yeah, a minor role, but like, give me Dee Wallace any day of the fucking week. She's, I think that Dee Wallace is like one of the most overlooked icons of the genre. Like when you talk Scream Queens, I mean, if you think about the credits she has under her belt, she's got Cujo, The Howling, Critters, The Hills Have Eyes, The Frighteners, Popcorn. Like, she's got so many, and for some reason, I feel sometimes she falls by the wayside. And I love whenever I see her in a movie, I'm on board. I don't care how cheesy it is, because she always kind of amplifies it for me. She brings it up. Regarding to opposite her in the sequence, when you've got Jocelyn Donahue, who, and I think it's like one of her first films. What perfect casting. Like, this girl, her body structure, like the awkwardness, the way she sits, her jawbone structure, like, she is just so demure and like delicate and frail, and she fits this role so perfectly.
Yeah, there's something so natural about all her delivery too, in a way that just feels believable. Is one of the things I was like noting as I was rewatching it, is just how I don't know. There's not necessarily like this ginormous range. Like, it's not like she has of a lot going on scene to scene, but there's a believability there that just like really kind of takes you in. And why isn't she a bigger thing? I know she was in Doctor Sleep, with the actress who I always mistake her for, the girl from
Yeah.
Starry Eyes. They look like almost the same, just very slightly.
Oh, Alex Esso.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really do look
But
the same.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like she should have a bigger career.
I was just going to say, she's so engaging in this that she's enchanting to watch. If you think about it, she had a huge weight on her shoulders to pretty much carry this film. I mean, she's in the film. She's the only one in the film, probably 90% of the running time. So you have no choice but to either get on board with what she's doing in terms of acting and the little quirks she's bringing into the character, or it's going to be a miserable, hour and a half for you. But she nails it. I think I first time I saw it, because I saw this probably when it came out in 2009. I don't remember much about, like, I didn't remember how engaging she was as a character, but I really enjoyed her performance in this quite a bit.
I think like a really important thing about her performance in this film is it's very important that this character be likable to the audience, like, especially to have an impact during the second half of the movie. You've got to make sure that this character is relatable and likable. And aside from her great performance, it's just the simplicity of the writing. She's written very much to sound like a college sophomore. Like, it's smart, simple writing. The dialogue isn't too lavish or flowery. It's just very much how I expect someone in her age range to deliver it. And she also looks so of that era. She just fits. She like naturally just fits right in with all of it. But she's, above all, like I said, she's likable. Like, you like her. She's very relatable. She's awkward. The little dance number she has later in the movie, I mean, like, adorable. I could watch that on loop for hours. So they did a really great job of picking a strong focal girl for this film.
Yeah, feathered hair and all, right?
Yeah. Feathered hair and all. And then something like I noticed watching it again recently, and we can get more into it as we get further in the plot, but she's always, I was noticing she's always positioned in comparison to other characters who are like not as like wholehearted as her. So like the opening thing at the showing of this apartment, Dee Wallace says like, I was showing it to another girl, but I don't like her as much as I like you, right? And it starts there, and then then we meet her roommate, and then we meet her friend, and she's always like the good one next to all. So I think like that's probably in part of like making her likable or caring about her. And so I was noticing that I was like, they keep like positioning her or comparing her to other women mostly, and those women and their infringements and all the bad things they're doing, but then next to her who's just trying to be good. I thought was really interesting. I also thought it was really interesting that in this opening scene, the first like thing the landlady, Dee Wallace, is trying to teach her is always trust your gut, which I think is just like the overarching like theme of this is like, no, like you should trust your gut. Like you should, if you feel something inside of you, you should like go with that.
Yeah, this whole script has a lot of tidbits of dialogue that either it references again later in the movie or kind of winks at or acknowledges. For example, the Volvo line. I mean, like, it's really good at planting these little seeds that kind of sprout up again later on in the story, which obviously we will touch on because it happens all throughout it. But this whole opening segment with Dee Wallace basically offering her this apartment, this house, for a reasonable amount of money. And she takes it. She doesn't have all of the funds, but she takes it. And she's confident that somehow she's going to get it. And it launches into this phenomenal opening credit sequence that really just sets the tone for everything because it does feel straight out of the era.
Yeah. And what an interesting idea that like someone like trying so hard to make rent and how that's still applicable today. Like how like we will probably do whatever we can and break our backs to make sure we have enough money for rent.
And this place was only $300 a month. I was like, oh my god!
Right.
But I like the open. But you know that's kind of is a really big part of the film in terms of her driving motivation for making choices that we as the audience are like, oh come on, girl, really? What are you doing? But this opening scene sets it up because we know she does not have money. She does not have the $300. She's desperate. She wants to move away from her roommate, and we very soon see why. And I'd want to get the fuck out of there too. So it kind of sets into motion like the idea of her making some decisions later on in the script that we as the audience generally would be like, what the fuck are you doing, girl? But we understand now why she's doing it. So she doesn't come off as one of those stupid slasher horror film characters because we get it. We know why she's making the decisions. We know it's bad, but at least we understand why she's doing it.
Yeah, and she's very much a character who's I find it very easy to sympathize for or sympathize with, you know, in the sense that, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like every decision she makes for the most part is reasonable. I mean, she has moments of suspicion. It's voiced in conversation with her friend and so forth, but it's all laid out there, like what she's trying to do, what she needs the money for, what the time frame is, the fact that she's rushed to do it. She even has an option to borrow money, but she declines it. She'd rather get it herself, which makes her even more likable. You know, so it's very strategically played, and the script is pretty flawless in that fact. It really makes sure that you like this girl and you feel bad for her.
Right. And you want to see her win. And because she's like, I don't know, she's like wholesome and she's like a good person and she wants to work hard for her money versus like, I just think about Greta Gerwig's character like tearing down the posters or whatever, like just things like that. Like it's so interesting. Sorry, I'm getting ahead. But like how Greta Gerwig is always eating something and like kind of disgustingly, or they like amped the audio so she like sounds disgusting. But anyway,
but yeah. So the opening credit sequence is definitely very late 70s, 80s. It's her after she's views this apartment and agrees to take it, and Dee Wallace graciously waives the deposit, waives any fees, just says, hey, give me $300 on Monday for the first month's rent and we're good to go. And then we get the opening credit sequence, which is her walking back from the apartment onto the college campus back to her dorm, and you get the bright yellow title cards and the freeze frame with the title cards. It's very late 70s, very 80s, but it's not like, it doesn't come off as cheesy or like phony. It actually works really well.
Yeah, once we cut out of this like pretty long drawn out title sequence, but I love it because it just keeps like giving you these like really great zooms and everything. Like they do really well with it. You have her you have a moment where she tries to get into her dorm, and there's the whole like sock on the doorknob, and her roommate, like we all know a Heather, we've all been a Heather, I think we've all been there, but she's obviously like banging her boyfriend, and you can hear the moans, and again right away they establish why she does not want to be living in this situation. And it causes her to walk back across campus up to, there's basically one of those like billboards on campus where people pin flyers and things to draw people's attention. And obviously like the main flyer is a babysitting flyer, but I don't know, does anyone take a time to like examine the flyers around this flyer? Because like there's a man like with a missing cat and it's like a portrait of him like holding his cat. Like it's like a glamour shot. Did you see?
I didn't see. No, I need to go back.
I just kept being like weirdly focused on like these folks that are about to lure her in decided to make the S a dollar sign. Like,
A dollar sign.
I kept being like, is this like 90s little kid? Like,
They're
I
really
don't
gonna
know.
get it. Yeah.
It's very.
But another thing you notice on
yeah.
this, and this is again, their attention to detail with this is pretty flawless. Every other sign other than the missing cat sign on this billboard is about the eclipse. It's about chances to view the eclipse.
Yes.
It's about scientific information
I saw
on the
that.
eclipse. One thing they do right away is they make it clear there's a fucking eclipse coming and it's a big deal.
Oh, we even get a newscast.
I love
about it
that
here
newscast.
coming up. But yeah, so she takes the little number from the babysitter wanted poster and she goes to a payphone to call. And she doesn't get an answer, so she leaves a message on the answering machine, leaving her phone number, right? She leaves her phone number. This is like the first indication that something's probably not right.
Yeah, already I'd be
Because she
suspect.
walks away and all of a sudden the payphone starts to ring. And she goes back and answers it, and lo and behold, it's the guy who's put the babysitter sign up. And she's a little bit more nonchalant about it than I would be because she's
Right.
like, oh, well, how'd you get this number? He doesn't even answer her and she doesn't press it. To me, I'd be like, dude, what the hell? How did I left you my number? Why are you calling back on a payphone? This is weird. But she totally ignores it.
Can we take a moment to acknowledge Tom Noonan's
I was just gonna
voice?
say that. I would like when I first watched this movie, I remember thinking like, this is such a specific casting choice, and these are specific acting decisions that are so unnerving to me. Like the way he speaks is so calm, but also like I don't know, like he's somewhere else. It's very unnerving, and I remember thinking that over the phone. I don't know. Again, a moment where you're like, I'm not gonna take this job.
Yeah. It's the complete opposite what I would have expected them to take a character like this. When you think of what's going to happen, they give him this like meekness and this like this complete like lack of certainty.
Yeah, and almost like his mind is
and-
going. Like he forgets. He
Yeah.
says things, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. You don't find him threatening.
Yeah, he's not
Yeah,
formidable
yeah.
at all.
He doesn't sound like he's too sure of himself throughout the whole movie. It's a very odd choice, but it actually works to make the character that just more, because it makes you question their motives and what exactly is going on. We obviously know it's a horror movie. It's called House of the Devil. She's going to this isolated house to babysit. We know something's going to happen, but because of how he plays this character, we're not 100% sure what it is going to be until the end kind of comes and we get the reveal, but we will get there. So he calls her back on the payphone and she's interested in the job. He wants to meet her. So he tells her to meet him in front of the student activity center. But he doesn't tell her when. And when she asks him now, and he like hangs up without telling her. So she treks over to the student activity center and camps out on the stairways waiting for him. And he never shows up.
There's a point as she's like making her journey over there where she goes to get her backpack and she stops back. She's able to get into her dorm now. And while she's grabbing the bag, like her roommate's like fuck buddy of the week, like hits on her.
Winks at her.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
again, we've all been there. Like, and depending on who it is, I might be like, but like, she is not pleased. And it's just one more reason for her to want to get the fuck out of there.
Well, I love every time she goes into the dorm, the camera angle is super low. So all you see is her feet, but you see how disgusting
Right.
the one side of the dorm room is. It's
Yeah.
like garbage and clothes everywhere.
Right.
And then when she gets to her side, there's absolutely nothing on the floor. It's like clean. So you can totally tell, yeah, she wants out of there. And I don't blame her.
And I think that just goes like back to like these stark contrasts that they have Samantha next to these other characters who are like her roommate is a garbage person who is very inconsiderate of inconsiderate of her other roommate. So again, like, we're supposed to care about this girl. Like, this is a nice girl. Like, she's like got a good head on her shoulders. And I think that's just why, yeah, as we go on with this, we'll talk about it more. But I think that's just like why we're rooting for her throughout the movie.
She finally ventures to meet up with her friend Megan at a pizza shop, and this is the first time we see Greta Gerwig, who, like, by the way, since this has blown up into be her own thing and has like a resume that, well, an Academy Award nominated resume. So we all know Greta Gerwig, but this is her in this like unusually small role. But God, she like fucking steals the show every time she's on camera. And like you mentioned this a little bit earlier, but like the way she eats this pizza, it's like, she makes me want pizza so fucking bad. Like I'm not. It's so disgusting.
It is. It's like not. It's like not ASMR, but it's like almost ASMR. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because when I was watching it again today, like just like revisiting it, I was sitting watching it, and this I think goes back to how committed Ty West is to like make this film. Like, I felt like I was in that pizza shop. Like, the wood paneling of everything. Like, you know that food is fucking greasy and disgusting and salty. And I immediately was like, I'm so hungry right now. And I paused it to go get a snack. Because, like, I could taste the grease in my mouth. But, yeah, no, she's eating that pizza, and we hear every crunch.
We do. And I do want to acknowledge that she specifically makes a reference while she's eating the pizza. Like, she's devouring it, but then she's like, this pizza's disgusting. But then she eats a little bit more of it.
Yeah.
And she keeps, like, making a face that she's, like, not happy with the pizza. She's not satisfied with the pizza. Which, again, is something that is subtly, like, referenced later. When there's a moment where a character's eating pizza, and they're like, you can tell it's literally, like, in their mind, they're like, is it just me? Is it this pizza, or is there something really off about it? We'll get to it, but that, like, the choice to have that little moment with Megan's character, I thought was really subtle and really smart.
Yeah, because it's also the point where Megan offers Samantha the money. She's like, my dad will give it. All I need to do is call my dad, and he doesn't care. And this is when Samantha's like, no, don't do that. I'll figure it out. And Megan makes the comment that it is really weird that that guy stood you up. Megan is like the voice of reason throughout this film, even though she's in it, a minuscule amount of time. Every time she's in it, she is the one that is saying kind of what we're thinking. And her performance, yeah, definitely steals the show. She reminds me sort of like, we reviewed this film several episodes ago, Roger, but it's like Anna Faris and May. Just this like secondary character that just kind of, is so...
She's rough around the edges.
So unique, so just played so uniquely that she really kind of steals the show from the lead. Although, Jocelyn's great, Samantha's great, but I love Megan.
I do like that with her character. I do feel that overall, as far as best friend roles go, we've seen a lot of movies. I'd say that Megan is probably one of the best written best friend roles in a film that I can think of. Because, I mean, yeah, she's the voice of reason, but literally everything she thinks of is pretty much right. Like, as things go on, if you would have followed her suggestions at any point in the movie, you would make it out alive. You would not be part of this scenario. She knows exactly what to do and does go with her gut up until the very end, unfortunately.
I was just going to say, which is ironic because we know how things play out.
Yes, we do. We do.
Which is shocking. When I first saw this film, that shocked the hell out of me. Obviously, it's supposed to, but
same.
So she goes...
I was going to say, she has that line, the kid could be from hell. I just want to acknowledge that. Which is super cute.
Yeah, there's some foreshadowing there, if I've ever seen any. But she goes back to her dorm. The roommate is snoring, being just disgusting, and so she goes to the bathroom and kind of tries to gain composure. And then she goes back to her dorm, and the roommate's up now, and she's just like this rough broad who is like, "Oh, some guy called for you. I left his number on your desk." And lo and behold, she calls the number, and it is
Mr. Ullman with his quizzical voice.
His soft-spoken. He basically tells her that he is in a bind and that they need someone and that he can pay her $100 if she can do if she can do the babysitting job tonight. And I was thinking to myself, this is the 80s, right? Right? $100, that's a gosh darn a lot of money for a babysitting job in the 80s. Because I babysat when I was like 13 and I got like $10 for 8 hours. I'm like, you're getting $100 to go. That's a lot of money for the 80s. I would be a little probably eager to do it as well.
I will say this is the point where I would probably already decline, just like based out of sheer laziness. Like if you're throwing at me like literally being like, I need you to leave now, I'd be like, listen, we had a time, there's a window of time. We've missed that window. I wish you the best. But she is determined. And I do love like the moment when, oh God, her face is so expressive when she's on the phone with him and he offers the money. You can see like the hope in her face. It's just one more little thing that makes the rest of this journey so sad. As it progresses, you do feel really bad for this character, but she gives in. She says yes, and she and Megan are on their way.
They're on their way in Megan's car, and we get some banter between the two of them, and they have good chemistry together. But we also find out that Megan has pulled down all of the help wanted babysitter signs so that nobody else would call to get the job.
Megan's a good fucking friend.
Yeah.
We all need a Megan in our life.
Oh, I would love a Megan in my life.
I just sort of love like the moral like I think it's just like the moral differences between Megan and Samantha. Like Samantha's actually like a little angry at her for doing this and thinks it's wrong, but Samantha is like firm in her decision, and she was like, he shouldn't have blown you off. Like fuck that guy. So and I think, yeah, again, like that sort of contrast between like Samantha's like, I'm going to be righteous and holy, and other characters sort of like diverging from that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a moment while they're driving too, and I just think it's just one of those well-played tropes. They keep consistent. The scene in the car starts with another radio broadcast. And they give Megan a moment to kind of bitch, being like, I'm so sick of hearing about this eclipse. Like, they make it a little moment, and they make sure to keep it, like, fresh in the viewer's mind that this is important. This is something big that's happening. And I think they're really good at doing that without being, like, eclipse, like the entire movie, you know?
Right. It's not like spoon-feeding it. Like, yeah.
Right. And they do drive past a cemetery on their way. The cemetery does come into play. It is a very cinematic cemetery. They got a great location for the cemetery, but only to be outmatched by the next location that they arrive at, which is the house of the fucking devil.
The house. It is a creepy looking house. That's all I can say. I mean, it's a creepy looking house.
Right.
It's huge.
It's huge.
It's so I read that the movie was filmed entirely in Connecticut, and it's very New England. Like even the cemetery, like that. Living in New England and being from New England, I was like, that's why this feels so familiar. And also just like what a genius like title for a movie. I know it's so simple, but that's just like it's just like this impending doom. Like, shit's gonna go down in the house, right? Because it's called the House of the Devil. So like, it's gonna be bad. But it's just like this long drawn out thing until we finally but we know it's coming.
There's very few locations in this film overall. Like when you think about it, like you get college campus for a bit, you get pizza shop, but once you get to the house, like you don't stray away. And it takes it takes a certain kind of director, I'll be honest, to give me a one location film or a film that's very restricted to the amount of locations it has and keep my attention. And the way they film this house, it is never boring. It never feels repetitious. It feels so vast and ominous. The house becomes a character in this film. Like, it is very much a pivotal piece of why this film works.
Yeah, and something I was thinking, just like go back on settings as I was watching, is like how economical it all is, like how small the cast is, and then their locations. Like even when they're at the college, you don't see a lot of students. There's that one scene where she's like sitting on the steps, and you see like 3 students leave, but they like specifically place it so it looks like they're going maybe on winter vacation or something. So there are not a lot of students around. So it's just smart, like as a filmmaker, and like realizing how ridiculous how many sets we had for Death Drop was. It's like, we should have been smarter about that, like Ty West clearly was.
I've always, honestly, like I've said ever since I've seen this movie, I said this is, if you want an example of what to do with a small budget and make it work and make it look big, this is the example I would show somebody, because you're right, like they don't rely on huge volume of scenes of extras, like club scenes that you have to deal with, or I mean school scenes that I've been stuck having to help with. It's very stressful, or getting 100 zombies on a location at one time and wanted to throw myself off a roof. They are so smart, because it's very, very restricted to a few sparse locations, and it almost plays off of because it's like that cold winter season and everyone's pretty much inside anyways. You know, she's like all bundled up all the time. You never really see anybody outside on that campus, and that makes sense. I know when I was living in Columbus in like a campus town and it was winter, like people were not outside. It was sparse. It was scarce.
Yeah, the very few locations as possible. That's what we just had this conversation, Roger. Remember about if you're an aspiring filmmaker, that's my biggest piece of advice to you for your first film is the fewer the locations, the better. I learned my lesson with teacher shortage. Because that one was ridiculous, as Roger knows because he was in it. I mean, it was, we had some locations. We had schools, we had bars, we had everything, and I'm like, this is never going to happen again.
Yeah, you had like a house. Yeah.
But so she goes to knock on the door, and I think it's kind of cool that she brings Megan. But then I was thinking, like, from the perspective of whoever this Mr. Ullman, like, it's kind of ballsy just to show up like with your friend and be like, oh, here we are. And I know
Yeah, but think about this situation, like everything that's built up to this.
Yeah, I get it. But I was thinking, I was curious to see how he was going to react, because of the intentions of her being there. I was like, I wonder how he's going to react to someone else showing up with her. Man, it's kind of ballsy to do that, but again, probably smart, but. This was the 80s. This was when people weren't really as smart as they are now. That's why everyone was getting kidnapped and murdered in the 80s, because they made stupid decisions.
And Troy would know, because his obsession is true crime. So he could tell us about all of the deaths.
Where do we start?
In the 80s if we really had time, right? Morbid. But I also, this is the moment right when they're walking up that Megan does deliver the line, Volvo. Safest car on the roads, or something like that. And that line, again, simple line. It's almost like a throwaway line until you realize it's not. I love these little moments. I also love the way that they introduce Mr. Ullman when they open the door and you see the girls are looking up at him. And he's very tall and very skeleton-like. But you don't see his face until he finally lets them in the house. And Mr. Ullman does not look well. Mr. Ullman looks like very fragile.
It's all the deals he's making. I think that was obviously. I don't know how deliberate the casting choice was, but to make him so tall is like very, because his voice, like you said, is not terrifying, but then he himself physically is a little disturbing because he's so tall, and he said, doesn't he say like such beautiful girls or something like really creepily?
Yeah. He has a few lines that he says, like he's also like, you're a real doll for doing this. Like things are kind of demeaning, like a little bit like talking down to a woman.
Yeah.
And coming from this awkward skeleton man, it's just like, it makes makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very disturbing.
Yeah. So he welcomes them in and sits them on the couch, and they're just having banter back and forth, like you guys just mentioned. And finally, he's like, "Can I speak to you alone, Samantha?" And I was like, okay, yeah, I know where this is going. He's going to bitch her out about bringing this other girl. And he does, but in a very professional, kind way. He takes her to the kitchen. He's like, I just want you to know that I can only pay one of you tonight. And he actually seems embarrassed. Like, I really love his line delivery here. He actually seems like he's embarrassed that he's telling her he can only pay one of them. And she's like, oh, I know. She just brought me. She's going to leave, and she's going to pick me up later. In the meantime, she's sitting on the couch eating
again
candy. Is it out of his candy bowl? It's hard candy. Yeah. And she's like taking the bites of each of them and crunching, and then if she thinks it's gross, she takes it out of her mouth and puts it in a napkin and grabs another one. And I'm like, oh,
She shoves a napkin in between the couch too. She's disgusting.
That's something I would do, honestly.
It's these weird sort of like moments of like I can't think of another word besides like, you know how like in 80s movies like the character does like what you're supposed to be like wrong, like you're supposed to know that is wrong, right? Like these infractions these characters do, and I think this is like the one that she like doesn't actually pay for, but you know what I mean, like she's like doing something that's like, you're not supposed to do that. That's really disgusting and also like wrong to do in someone's house. And then she like pockets some, I think, too,
she
or
takes
something.
She takes the
Oh yeah. She puts them in her
purse. So
there's a very subtle moment, and because this movie is so like it's simple, you know, like it just is. I think it's easy to really get into some of more like these facial reactions and everything with this movie, because there's a lot of, I think, hidden intentions that you like go back and you rewatch it and you see there's something more to the moment. And one of these moments that like hit me a different way when I watched it this last time was when he's like, I can't afford to pay both people. And she's like, oh no, I don't have a car. She's just dropping me off, is how she words it. And you see his face kind of almost like light up. And not knowing what you know, like not only is she like there to be the babysitter, but she has no means of escape. Perfect. Like it's ideal, you know?
But he also, we cut back to their conversation. And this is when he is like, you know, you need to sit down. And
I'd be like, oh, fuck, I'm out.
So she sits down. She's like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, I haven't been completely honest with you. Basically, we don't have a child. Well, we do, but he's grown. Basically, what you're going to be doing is watching my mother-in-law. And right away, she is like, I don't have any experience with that sort of thing. So I'm going to go. And he's like, no, we're desperate. I will give you, how much do you want? I will give you $300. Now, we know that $300 is pretty important to her because that is the amount of money we saw at the beginning that she has to give Dee Wallace, the landlady. And this girl has some gall because she's like, oh, how about 400? And he's like, yeah, he's like, oh, okay.
I was going to say, I actually think that moment is like the first moment where she like diverges from her like moral compass because she like exploits someone. She does something that all these other, like not all these other characters, but that other characters are doing that are like what she considers immoral, like ripping down the posters or her roommate being a garbage person. Like, so this is Samantha's like first moment where she's like, I'm going to take advantage of someone and their situation. And I think that's like that. I don't know. I think that's an important moment because obviously it leads her down to where we're about to head. But I don't know. I just thought it was I think it's like a lot more significant as a character choice because I think she's making a decision that's not necessarily what we've known of her thus far.
Yeah, it's the first time she's selfish. I mean, it's reasonably selfish. Because
of course,
she needs the money. I'm sure she doesn't want to be completely without any cash. So here's this ideal situation, and they're putting her in what seems to be a very uncomfortable situation. So why not milk it? But yeah, she definitely takes it. She runs with it a little more than maybe she should have.
Yeah, and the decision's not like reprehensible, and you can even see the hesitation when she says 400. Like it's almost like she's unsure of if she should push this, which is great. But yeah, it's like the first time like her moral compass diverges and to catastrophic ends.
That is interesting to look at it from that angle.
Yeah, but it's also like, you know, it's also just kind of like, you know, fate because it's the exact same amount of money she needs and it just happens to fall in her lap and there's a solar eclipse. It's just, you know, there's a lot of like, you know, supernatural elements that are strung throughout the film that necessarily don't have really anything to do with the ending of the film, but are kind of there. You know, just how convenient is it that she happens to come across somebody that's willing to give her the exact amount of money that she needs. But I love this next scene because she agrees. She's like, okay, I'll do it. And he's like, it's super easy. You don't even really have to go up and talk to her. Just she agrees. And I love the next scene because there's no like conversation between her and Megan. It's basically just Megan storming out of the house being like, you are an idiot. And she's mad at her. She is mad. She's like, they lied to you. We said that if there was any hint of anything that wasn't right, we were leaving. And this is not right. So what do you do?
And it goes back to like we said with that first scene with the landlady. It's like trust your gut. Like it's just like just such a simple moral, but like here it is, like right in her face, being like, "But money's powerful."
I mean, she basically tells Samantha, "You're being stupid," and Samantha's like, "So will you please just come back and get me at 12:30? It's 4 hours. This is gonna do." And she even tells her, "This is gonna do so much for me. Just this 4 hours is gonna do so much for me. So can you please do it?" And Megan's response is, "You're being stupid, but fine." And she leaves. She drives away.
She's on like the verge of tears.
She is.
Like
she is
she's
because
like
she
worked up,
knows.
yeah.
She knows how stupid this is,
Yeah.
and it is kind of stupid. You know, I mean,
Kinda.
well,
it is.
you
It
know,
proves to be very fucking stupid. It proves
my
to be-
dumb ass probably would have done the same thing.
Same,
though.
but like
I'd be
$400. I've done
Sure,
worse for less.
right?
But so yeah, so now she's at the house. I mean, she is officially there, and Megan is taken off down the road and drives.
And stops for a cigarette. Why do you need to stop your car for a cigarette, Megan? If you would have just lit the cigarette and kept driving like a normal person, this would have never happened. But she pulls over in front of the creepiest fucking cemetery known to man for a cigarette.
Yeah,
and
this scene makes it worth it.
And she rolls down the window. And she's trying to light her cigarette, and all of a sudden this hand comes out of nowhere with a lighter. And it's AJ Bowen's character, and he is like, "Oh, I can see you need a light." And so he gives her the lighter, and she lights a cigarette. And you can tell right away, this dude, there's something not right with him. I would have immediately pulled away. He is, if you watch it, he's looking to make sure nobody's around. Like he keeps looking, checking his surroundings, and he's like, "Ooh, it's cold out here." And I love her responses. Okay. She expected him to like want to come in and sit in the car, and that's why he was saying that. She's like, okay. And she's like, "What are you doing out here anyways? Why are you out here?" And I can't remember. She says something, and he is like, "Aren't you the babysitter?"
Yeah.
She should have said yes.
She's like, "No, my friend, blah, blah, blah." And like without hesitation.
I know.
He blows her fucking head off.
A great fucking sequence.
Right. I remember first seeing this sequence, and yeah, mid sentence of her being like, "My friend,"
Yes.
and then it's just like boom. Was very shocking. It's also, I think, the first time in the movie that we finally are not with Samantha. And so it left you already kind of feel, because you're always so, as an audience member, you're like already comfortable with being with Samantha, so you know like shit's gonna get weird. Like it's important that we've diverged from her arc to have this moment.
And it's it's bloody, it's brutal. I mean, it's a pretty brutal effect. It looks pretty graphic.
And I love that the car like also slowly like rolls off. Like there's something about that's very disturbing to me. I don't know what it is, but it's just like it's just a detail that like being specifically included is, I don't know. It definitely like keeps it unsettling.
Well, I think that with the way this film handles its moments of violence, because keep in mind, like up to this point, there's been nothing. I mean, nothing. And when this hits, it hits like with the force of a freight train. And it shows a lot of real, like, solid directorial work from West, and it's like the scene moving forward. There are moments of gore and violence in this movie, but they're few and far between. But they let the movie breathe so much between these sequences that when they do hit, it always like it shocks you, and not just in the way it's edited, but how it's executed in general, because it's just it's used just the right amount. You know what I mean? Like this isn't a gore fest. It's not like blood and gore beginning to end. There's only a few moments of real like shocking violence, but they come at between periods of calm and periods of a lot of development, and they oftentimes just take you completely by surprise. So it has this extra heft to it. So when the scene happened, I remember the first time I saw this, I did not anticipate this, because you've gotten comfortable with this film at this point and these characters. You're in like this comfort zone with Megan. She's such like an open character. I thought something shitty was going to happen to her, but not at the speed in which it hit here. Because the moment he suspects anything, you see his face drop, and all of a sudden, boom, he just blasts the whole front of her head off. And like, yeah, it's great. And then he takes the puff of that cigarette and... Ugh.
Yeah, he takes the cigarette out of her hand. I think that this is the point when the film becomes, and I don't really throw around this word very often when it comes to film, but I feel like this is the point that this film really becomes brilliant, because it happens so quickly, so early on in the film, and it sets us up to know now something truly is not right. But after this point, and this is what I'm talking about, the brilliant part, after this point, the film's pacing is so drawn out that we, as the audience, just witnessed this horrific murder of a character that we've grown to like in the two scenes that she's in. And now we are literally sitting on the edge of our seats the rest of the film, waiting for what's going to happen because of this one particular scene. And it is so drawn out. I mean, to do this and to pull it off the way he did, I'm going to say it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I can't think of another film that is so deliberately paced, but does it in such a skillful, masterful way. I really can't.
Yeah, every decision and action leads right into the next. Like nothing about the story is like forced, or it happens is like shoehorned in there to make like the plot go a certain way. Like everything unfolds so naturally, and that is really like, yeah, expert direction. We get back to the house, and there's a conversation between Mr. Ullman and Samantha where he's kind of like giving her the rundown of what to expect with his stepmother, and what to expect with like while they're away, in the sense of like taking care of herself within the house. And he keeps urging her to order pizza. And like you had mentioned earlier, Mikey, that he seems like he's kind of losing it a little bit, like a kiss of dementia, just a pinch of dementia.
Yeah.
But you also realize this too, like the pizza plays a pivotal factor. So he's like, you can tell he's like, did I remember to mention it? Like there's a reason for it too. And it just makes it all the more creepier.
Yeah, I can't like tell how what's the word I'm looking for? Like how maybe I did think like he has like some early onset dementia or something, but I wonder if like all other previous attempts that this family had has failed because he's just like inept or getting too old or something, which I thought was
like a Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, like it was
bumbling.
like in my head it was like kind of funny. I was like, oh, like I wonder if he forgot to mention the pizza the last time they tried this or something. But yeah, no.
Yeah, he mentions it about 4. He even pins a $20 bill on the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So that she has the money for the pizza. And he gives her half her payment up front, the $200. And yeah, like Roger said, tells her basically, you don't really have to do anything. You don't have to even go up and see her. She's going to be up there. And he leaves her alone, and he goes upstairs, and you hear him talking to somebody from upstairs. But then from downstairs, one of the rooms enters the elegant Mrs. Ullman, played by...
She has a first name though.
Vivian.
It's
like
Vivian
Ullman.
Victoria is
played by
Vivian
the wonderful Mary Warrenov.
Yeah, she's terrifying.
Yeah, what a cool casting.
She is amazing in this. It's really it's great casting, because this is totally against the grain of what she's typically known to do, which is a lot of like the horror comedy stuff. She was in the beginning of Chopping Mall, if you remember. And she is very much known as like a Roger Corman type actress that does a lot of comedic relief in 80s horror films. So to cast her in this role where she is sinister as hell, creepy as hell, was another, I'm going to throw the word out there again, brilliant.
Yeah.
Totally against the type of what she typically is known to do.
And she's a gay man's dream in this, like in that fur.
Oh, God.
With
Furs.
that wig. And the way she talks to Jocelyn,
I was getting some lesbian vibes.
Well, a pinch of lesbian, but also
I get
just a
lesbian
very,
vibes in every movie we watch, though. So.
we're looking for them all the time. We're looking for flannel. We're looking for short cropped hair. But no, she yeah, like just very dominant. I was gonna say if Mr. Ullman is the sub, she is the dom in this relationship for sure. Like she pegging him. She pegging him.
Yeah, she definitely wears the pants. She's unsettling in a different way than he is, right? Like, I don't know, I feel like, oh, she creeped me out. And the fact that, like, she has, like, it's almost like a weird cartoon character because her hair is black, everything she's wearing black, so it's just like all kind, and because they shot it on like 16 millimeter or whatever, it just kind of blends all in as like one being. Like you don't see the separation between shirt and hair and pant and fur, and so she just looks like this really creepy shadow that like first sees Samantha in a mirror, which is a little, I don't know, kind of disturbing, that slow zoom that Ty West does. But something that creeped me out about a detail that for some reason like always stuck out of my mind was that she mentioned that they're from the desert, like they don't like the cold. And you look at these people and they look like they're from the cold, so that I always found wicked weird. It's just an interesting choice to talk about being from the desert. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like milk white. They have no color.
Looks like they've never been in the sun. But she's like, yeah, we're from the desert or something. And I was like,
we like the heat. Yeah. Another thing I like, again with the little details, is she comes through the door while Samantha's sitting on the couch. Samantha's looking up the staircase because she thinks the conversation is taking place upstairs. And then so she's taken by surprise when she comes from, the next room over, and she acknowledges it. And Mrs. Ullman says, "Oh, I was just getting my furs from the basement." There's all these little dialogue points that come back up, because then the fur coats come up later again as well. But it's just so casual in the conversation. It just uses this like kind of little excuse for, oh, that's why I came from the next room over. And like, it's not even questioned after that. And like, it's like little pieces of this puzzle that keep falling together and making this bigger picture. It's so unsettling.
Yeah. And then she starts just like, again, excessively complimenting Samantha, like telling her, "Oh, you look far too young to be in college. I can't believe you're in college," and is like, "You're such a beautiful girl," and then starts like caressing her hair. But then she hears the husband coming down and she immediately like jerks away like she's doing something wrong. And it's just really weird.
Yeah. And the scene with Jocelyn Donahue, I think, is honestly some of her best acting in the film, because it's simple, but she's got this like, obvious discomfort with this older woman who she's trying to respect, but she's like folding up, she's like cowering like a lamb. This woman does have a very intimidating presence, and I really love the body language between the two of them, because Mrs. Ullman has no issue just getting right up in her space,
Yeah. So the husband comes and gets Mr. Ullman comes and gets Vivian, and they're off for the evening, leaving Samantha in this house by herself with this unknown mother-in-law that we haven't seen yet or haven't heard anything up from.
And as they pull away, she acknowledges that they do both very, very obviously depart in the Volvo that has been acknowledged prior by one Greta Gerwig.
Mm-hmm. She calls Megan and gets her answering machine, and we get that old good old trick that people used to do. Do you remember doing this with your answer, or like on your voicemailer, where you'd be like, "Hello," and then you'd like wait 3 seconds and be like, "Oh, I'm just kidding, I'm not home." That's what Megan does in her answering machine. So we get her calling Megan a couple times to find out that she's not there. She's like, "Aren't you home yet? You need to call me, please. You should be home by now." And she decides to order the pizza.
When she calls there,
one large pepperoni,
because we've seen him already, it is very obvious to anyone paying attention that this voice on the other line is AJ Bowen. Mm-hmm. Because he has a very distinct voice, and just from that one scene he had with Greta Gerwig earlier, he's got like kind of a higher pitch sound to his voice. It's very noticeable, and he's kind of quirky and jokey. He's cracking jokes. So with the dialogue, the way they wrote this scene between the two of them, where he's like, "You want just anchovies, right?" Like blah blah blah, like making these little quirky jokes, jabs at her. It makes it all the more obvious it's him. And like at this point, if you've been paying attention, it's very unsettling to think that this is the guy that's on the other side of the line.
Yeah, it's so we know now. Okay, That is why Mr. Ullman was pressuring her so much to order this damn pizza. Obviously, part of this whole elaborate trap that basically she fell into, as we're starting to realize. Now, I don't want to say like nothing substantial happens for the next 25 minutes or so, because I mean, there are little elements that do happen throughout this next 25 minutes, but for the most part, and I feel like this is where people who criticize this movie, because you can read some negative reviews. I was checking out like Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic and reading some reviews, and most of them are very good. It has a very high rating on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic, but there are some very scathing reviews. And basically, I think they stem from this particular portion of the film where it literally seems like nothing happens except her walking around this house. All of the critiques that I've seen, or that the vitriol that I've seen directed at this film, have 100% to do with the pacing of the film and the fact that there is a huge chunk of time in this film where it seems like nothing happens. She's just exploring this house. She's dancing around. There's not much going on. So, I mean, we can go through every little thing she does for the next 25 minutes, but
so, some things that I think that I
there are a few things.
Yeah,
that,
I mean, I understand. Like, I think in the moment, I don't necessarily have like the clearest memory, but I think what horror movies that stand out to me are the ones that like stick with me afterwards, and I think that this is one that did, because all these like this 25-minute span where like seemingly like not really much happens, there's all these like little moments that like could have saved her or could have gotten out of there. Like, she peers down in the basement while she's doing that little dance, and had she only like explored a little further and gone down there, she would have seen shit, and she would have like got warned. Or her knocking over the vase like seems insignificant, but it's like a very, what's so fascinating, what's kind of heartbreaking about her breaking the vase is she's so concerned about it, and she's really like worried that that happened, and we know as viewers that like that's the least of her concerns right now. So I think like it's like moments like that do matter, but I can see where folks would be like a little impatient.
Yeah, no, and I agree, but we have to look at kind of the both sides of why people love or why people dislike this film. And I think that when you ask people that dislike this film why they dislike it, they are 100% going to say because nothing happens through most of the film.
And to get such a big moment with Greta Gerwig to then just like almost, I guess probably folks feel like it kind of deflates from there.
But for me, it's tension. Like I said, for me, you're on the edge of your seat. You're waiting for something to happen. Like, what's going to happen? Oh my God, she opens the basement door. What's going to happen? Oh my God, she goes into this room. What's going to happen? Something's going to happen. And it doesn't. Until it becomes, it builds so much that we get to the climax of the film. I don't have a problem. I mean, Ty West is known for his style, and his style is very much slow burn. So if you don't like people that don't like Ty West, that's why they don't like him. Every one of his films, whether it is The House of the Devil, The Innkeepers, The Sacrament, The Roost, and then he did that segment for ABC's of Death. It's all very much slow build up to a climax that is usually pretty frenzied. But if you're impatient and you're used to the, big budget action movies that are, splattering theaters every week, it may be a little difficult to sit here and watch this. Like, I can't imagine, like, I'm trying to think, I'm a teacher and I would, working with like kids, like, I throughout my span of my day now, I work with high school students in the morning and then elementary students in the afternoon. I just can't imagine like sitting like a 6th grader down and be like, here, watch this film, or like a 14-year-old, here, watch this film. They're going to be on their phone constantly, so you have to just kind of know what he's doing, the purpose of why this is so slow. And I think it's, like I said, I think it's brilliant. I'm not complaining, but I know that anybody that has something disparaging to say about this film is going to mention the pacing.
One thing I have come to appreciate about this, and I realize it now at this point, having seen it so many times more than ever, and I don't think I picked up on it as much when I first saw it, is this film, there are parts of it that are almost in real time. It takes place over the course of one evening, but once you get to a certain time frame, the countdown to the eclipse. And you're tracking that through a lot of things. You're tracking it through some really effective shots, like when you see AJ Bowen at one point look up and you see in the night sky that it's just starting to begin. You have that absurd news clip with those two individuals.
Oh my God, I was
who are
going to
like,
mention that. Yeah.
I like my popcorn with extra butter.
Yes.
Like,
There's the one point where she sits down and turns on the TV, and it's a news broadcast. And yeah, they're talking about the lunar eclipse and grab some popcorn. I like mine with butter.
Every time you do a woman's voice, Troy, it's like this deep southern drawl. And like, I don't know.
Because I lived in Texas for so
Oh,
long.
my,
I don't know, that sounds like Louis.
yeah. But
I declare.
it really it's like keeping tabs on it. Like yes, it takes its time, but Mike, like you did mention, there's like a series of valuable little tidbits that happen along the way, and they're so tiny, but we obviously, like, the dance montage happens. We have to acknowledge it. One of the best dance montages in horror movie history. She's bopping around the house. She's throwing apples, catching them, spinning around, twirling.
It's to one thing. One
It
thing
leads
leads
to
to
another.
another. A very quintessential 80s song. I still don't think it beats the dance sequence in Evil Laugh, but that's just me.
Or the dance sequence in the final girls to Cherry Pie when Tina
yeah.
like kicks the door open and she's like, do, 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 do. Yeah, it's absurd. But
again, this actress Jocelyn Donahue gives it her all. I mean, kind of let your inhibitions down and just do this on camera and it's very cool. It's shot like it's almost like one take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just like following her around the house as she's doing this dance.
it's very
pretty
fluid.
cool how
it's very fluid.
Yeah.
I want to start just because it's like the thing right now with the children. I really want to start a TikTok trend where you take this scene and you just like dub other songs that would not fit over it and see like if we can catch it. I want to do one to Salt Shaker by the Yin Yang Twins, but the exact same scene and just let it run its course. I think it could take off because it is a really fun scene. But it does lead to the breaking of the vase, as you mentioned, Mikey.
Yes.
And the breaking of the vase leads to the opening of a closet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the opening of the closet reveals a bunch of furs
That are not in the basement.
that are not in the basement.
Yeah, and she says to herself, yeah, she said these were in the basement. Just in case.
And then underneath the furs is a garbage bag, and she's curious enough already, so she proceeds to open the bag and starts going through the items inside of it, and finds a bunch of framed photos of a family that is obviously not the family that she's met, but in one of the specific photos, they are pictured standing in front of a very specific Volvo.
And it's the Volvo that Megan happened to point out when they pulled into the driveway.
This reveal is when things really, I think, start to twist, turn the wheels for Samantha.
Also, another thing I thought when I was rewatching it is, what a bad job this family did to like hide these things. Like, obviously they went through the house and took all the photos down.
Yeah. You know, it was
but they were
Mr. Ullman.
Yeah, it was Mr. Inept Mr. Ullman, who was just like, I don't know, I guess I'll put this trash bag in here. Like, you have to think that, I don't know, maybe this teenage girl is going to explore. I don't know. But anyway, I was thinking that. I was like, wow, that's really bad. Like, that's just bad covering up.
Yeah. This family is not... They're lucky that shit works out the way it does, as long as it does, because they are bumbling. They're bumbling. The only one that's not totally bumbling is the son, is AJ Bowen's character. And so you've got this whole moment where she's kind of creeping around the house. Now she's nervous because she's found these pictures. She does go out on the porch at one point, and there's like a van that's parked. And she acknowledges it, and she's just standing out there for a second, but she eventually goes back inside. And after she goes inside, you do see the boots step down from inside the van. And they are definitely AJ Bowen's boots. And we know this because a cigarette is thrown out on the grass and stepped on, put out. And you know, when you see it, you know that's Megan's cigarette. It's like one of those little touches that's like, oh, this is how short the time frame has been since this all happened.
Yeah, and she is totally freaked out. She grabs a knife, and is kind of walking through the house with this knife. And at this point, this is the only point in the movie where I'm like, if you're that freaked out, just leave. Like, just go.
Where?
I mean, I would
Into the wild?
if it was Into the Wild versus what happens to her, I would choose Into the Wild.
That's fair. And Troy, don't tell me, like, I know all three of us have at one point in our big gay lives been scared alone in a house, and we've pulled like a Nev Campbell, we've taken a fucking like butcher knife, and we've like held it up against our chest in case we have to defend ourselves. Neither of you can tell me you haven't done that.
I probably have. None's coming to mind. But I think...
Especially when I'm stoned. I'm like, like cowering in a corner.
I think just showing the son's boots, I think just also is kind of cementing that, like, even if she were to run or start walking back to college or whatever,
catch her, yeah.
like, he's like circling around like a wolf. Like, he's just like stalking and making sure everything's going to plan.
So she goes pee, and as she's peeing, she hears like this pounding noise coming from upstairs. So she slowly climbs the stairs and check it out. And there's like this cool, I really like the lighting and the shadow play as she's climbing the stairs. It looks really cool.
Silhouette.
Yeah, it's a silhouette, and it's very effective. She stops in front of a room, and she like tries to open the door, and it's locked. And she's like, "Is anybody in there?" And then we get this cool reveal. The camera automatically flips into the side of the room, and we see the dead family.
Yeah. Also, a very disturbing image. Like, if you look at the child, like, I'm like it's very, very, oof. I don't like it. That's like nightmarish.
Yeah, he's got his full, like, he's obviously had his heart removed because he's slit all the way from stern to bow. He's cut down his gut. And I think his eyes are stabbed out, I believe.
It's the eyes, I think, that freak me out the most. Yeah, it's just like these dark holes, these dark gaping holes that really sort of freak me out.
And the whole lead up to this sequence where when she's making her way up the staircase, I mean, it is a long sequence, and it is the score is sparse. It's very simple, but this is like Ty West at his finest, I would say. Like, this build-up moment of her waiting at the bottom of the stairs, listening for these thumps, slowly making her way into the hallway. You get an occasional build-up of strings, you know? But it is, like, honestly, it is just so suspenseful. I can still watch it to this day and feel that suspense, and that's rare to watch a movie like 10, 15 times and still feel the emotion they're trying to pull out of you, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
But I also think like the scene upcoming is probably one of the most effective jump scares in horror film history. I think it is. It still scares the crap out of me when it happens, even though kind of I know it's coming. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but it's when after she stops in front of this room and we get the reveal of the dead family, she continues up the attic stairs because there's still this pounding, and there's this moment. It's silent. Like Roger said, there's no score. It's silent. And she reaches like the final flight of stairs to go to the attic. And as she's climbing, the loudest fucking doorbell in the history of film rings. And I literally jumped out of my seat.
It's like a fire alarm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is one of the most effective jump scares, I think. I mean, I think that's right up there, like with the Exorcist 3 in the hospital with the nurse coming out with the hedge clippers or whatever they are.
Hell yeah.
But that scared the crap out of me. Even the second time I watched it just before we recorded this, I was like, I jumped.
And we're getting old, Troy, so you like pee yourself a little bit. You're like, it's like one of those scares.
But it's highly scary, highly effective.
Yeah.
So she runs down, and it's the fucking pizza man, and she doesn't even bother. I love that she just opens the door, she throws the 20 out, grabs the pizza, slams the door shut. She's like, "Thank you, keep the change." Right. And we hear him on the other side of the door being like, "Oh, thank you, ma'am." And of course it is, I think his name's Victor. Is it Victor? It's AJ Bowen, but I believe the character is Victor Ullman, the son.
Oh, I forget. Okay, yeah.
I think you're right. I do think you're right. I didn't write it down either. I literally just reference him as the son.
The son, yeah. But and then she goes to call 911, and she dials 911. She quickly hangs up. She changes her mind. They call her back, and she's like,
Lena Dunham calls her back.
Oh my God, I saw that in the credits.
Wait, that's Lena Dunham?
Yes. That's fucking Lena Dunham on the other line is like the 911 reporter.
Oh my God, now I have to go back and just listen for that. I didn't...
And she's
She
doing like a
sounds-
kind of a drawl. She's like, "Ma'am, is everything okay?"
Yeah, why is she has a southern accent. She sounds old. Like
How did they get her?
Well, this was
Is she friends with
this
someone?
was 2009.
She's
I
probably
don't think
friends
she'd
with
really
someone.
done anything.
it was before Girls and maybe before Tiny Furniture or whatever
Yeah.
that movie was that she did.
Before all of that, she
Had a
the
voice
voiceover
cameo
role.
in House of the Devil. I'm sure that's right.
Good for her, man.
Yeah, I saw that in the credits.
Give us
I'm
all
like, are
hope.
you serious? That's Lena Dunham on the, and it's like Lena Dunham, 911 operator. That's how it's.
We all have hope to grow in our careers over time.
Yes, yeah, good for her.
Yeah. So Lena Dunham scolds her
She does.
for for calling
It's for
911 because
emergencies,
Samantha-
ma'am.
Yeah. And Samantha promptly goes to turn on the TV and watches Night of the Living Dead. Because
Yeah.
every fucking movie ever uses Night of the Living Dead as the, if it's Halloween or you're watching a horror movie, it's Night of the Living Dead because of the public domain. And I, at this point, I know Night of the Living Dead so well that I can tell when they're adding like alternate audio over it. And these are not the screams from the original Night of the Living Dead, so it kind of irritates me, but I'll live with it. But she's mowing down on this pizza while she's watching the movie.
Yep.
And the pizza looks disgusting.
It does.
And she's even
And like one of the slices is like folded over, like it looks like someone else took a bite out of it. It does, and it's like very thin. Like it does not look appetizing.
I feel like these fuckers bought this pizza 4 hours ago. Like, the plan. We have to work on the plan. Like, make sure to put extra poison in it. And they've just been sitting waiting. So now this pizza is like ice cold. But all that matters is she gets one bite out of it and she's fucked. So she does take down one bite, but pretty quickly you can tell that she's disgusted by it.
yeah.
Yeah.
She goes to get a swig of water, and I find this moment kind of interesting, and this is something I actually kind of want to get your opinion here. She goes to get some water from the sink. Earlier in the movie, we saw a shot of just the sink dripping, like right when she got to the house. They gave us a cut over to the dripping sink for no real reason, just to establish it. So this time when she gets water, she swigs some water, she swishes it around a little bit, and she proceeds to like listen to the sink to kind of get close, and there's the sound of something coming from the pipes, and they don't elaborate on this beyond that moment. But I'm curious, do you think on top of everything, on top of the pizza and all of this shit, do you think they have like rigged the pipes? Do we think something's in the water as well?
Oh, that's a good question because I remember thinking about that. Not this second. So I watched it twice in preparation, and I remember thinking that when I was watching it over the weekend. I don't know. It's a good question. Yeah, I don't know why it was focused on it.
I picture like frail Mr. Ullman like has snuck back into the basement and he's like hand pumping like rat poison into the water. Like as every time she goes to take a drink, he's just down there like ensuring she's doused with it. But yeah, it's just one of those. It's another one of those things. There's a lot of these like little moments that aren't fully explained, you know. But it leaves you kind of thinking or guessing like, is this the case?
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that. I thought it. I basically just thought of it as a ploy to get her to go explore the house some more. Because after she hears the banging, she does go back upstairs, and she goes into one of the bathrooms logically because she's hearing the water pipes banging, and she opens the shower, and there's like this reaction from her, she's like we think it's something horrible, and what it ends up being is it's just like a bunch of like black hair.
Yeah.
Whose hair is that?
Was it Miss Ullman's wig?
I was thinking that, like, I don't know, because obviously we know did she do something that caused her hair to fall out? Like, I don't know. It's very weird because obviously we see that she is wearing a wig later on. It's very disturbing, the image, but I don't quite know what happened.
Yeah. There's a few things because also there's the family that was there before. So like, is it the mothers? Because you see her body, but she's shadowed. So I mean, like, does she have hair? I can't really tell. Maybe. But there's another thing, and this might be me really reaching a lot. But you know how they say that before her they had another girl, but she ended up not working out.
Yeah.
You know how they dropped that line? I wonder if some shit went down and they like scalped a bitch or something. Yeah, like, well, you know, like, I don't know, they cut her. Yeah, they scalped her. I don't know. I mean, I could be jumping to a conclusion, but they bring that point up a couple times, and like, it's just one more thing because it's like, yeah, it's not like you found guts. It's not like you found like a dead child in the tub. You found fucking like
Right.
an obscene amount of hair. like someone was fully shaved.
Yeah, they must have because when they say that other girl thing, they didn't just like let her go home.
They're like, it's fine, it's not working. Like, have a good day. All of this does lead though to
the climax.
The build up in this sequence as she takes to the staircase. Like literally, like to this day, I'm sitting on my couch and like there's like a lump in my throat. And I'm like, oh god, it's so suspenseful. Like this scene just is like relentless. It is so fucking terrifying.
Yeah, she makes the logical choice after finding hair in the bathtub and having, all this shit happen to go to the attic again. That's exactly what I would do. Not. But she does. She heads to the attic again. And as she gets to the attic, she goes to pull the light on outside the attic door, and it blows all the electricity in the house. So not only is she in this creepy house now, it's pitch black. And there is this moment where she hears someone come to the attic door from inside the attic and start opening it. And as you see like this hand with like claws come out of the door, she begins to have a reaction to the fact that she was drugged by the pizza, and she basically passes out.
Yeah, at this point, like with everything as her whole journey, I feel so bad for this girl because, like, imagine being a 17-year-old child in this situation right now in this pitch black like house you've never been in, knowing that there's like a tub full of hair for no reason whatsoever, and then this shit happens. Like, I mean, she's shitting herself at this point. It is like the masterclass horror. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, it's one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah, it's oh god, and the score really starts to pick up and get like really terrifying. And that hand, I just remember thinking that hand was so fucking scary. And oh god, it's gonna be bad. Which I love it.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then this whole next segment, this transition into the next scene is actually really well done too, because the screen goes black and then there are basically just flashes of candlelight, and you see her like head on the you see her laying down, like her head's on the floor, and you're just getting these flashes from this candle of light for about 10 seconds. You're not really, it's kind of disorienting. We don't really know exactly what's happening, but we do see that she obviously is on the ground. She's restrained as this candlelight keeps flashing, and then all of a sudden there is just this like moment of blackness, and then this huge reveal with this loud like score, like "Rah!" And she is like, and the whole scene is lit, and she is tied to the floor,
Right.
to this pentagram that's painted on the floor. It is so just.
I love that dramatic, like jarring image, because it's almost like the worst of what you thought was gonna happen is fucking happening. Like it's just like, yep, she is tied up to a pentagram, and yep, there's Satanists, and yep, she's gonna get sacrificed. There's no like not what you thought it was going to be. You like were anticipating this, and now she's in it.
Yeah, and I think there's actually we've seen, I'm sure, plenty of rituals in our time in different variations, different movies. Everyone's sacrificing something or someone.
Right.
And I actually appreciate about this whole sequence is like when it comes to the rules of a demonic sacrifice, there's certain things you expect. And like Ty West was like, he wasn't going to be like, I'm going to come up with some real like absurd, far-fetched, brand new ritual. I'm sticking to the basics. We're going to do a fucking pentagram. We're going to deal with what I assume is a virgin, or at least close to it. We're going to put her in a white gown. We're going to involve the usage of blood. And we're going to have, apparently, everyone seems fine with the fact that there's this demon woman amongst, like, just part of the crowd. Like, how do they transport this woman around from place to place? Like, I'm guessing this is Grandma, but Grandma comes out of the shadows, and she is very much a demon woman. Like, she doesn't look like at all human, and she's just part of the gang, and she starts dipping her fingers in blood. She takes a knife, as you do during a ritual, proceeds to go cut her wrists, and apparently forces Samantha to guzzle her own blood from the head of like a deer or something. It is so fucking wild, but it is really by the books. Like it is classic ritual.
It's very disturbing, and I think I always assumed that Grandma was so ugly because she had just done so many work games with the devil that like only naturally like your appearance starts to wear away, and I think that's why Mrs. Ullman like doesn't have hair. It's because the more I don't know, the more of your soul you give to the devil, like the more you start to deteriorate. Even if he's giving you riches or whatever it is that he's promising.
Oh my gosh, Mikey's giving us all this extra like.
That's just what I thought. Like I love
it
because I was like, that's definitely Grandma, but why is she so fucking ugly? And it's like, oh, it's because she's been like hanging with the devil for a while.
Do they just call her? Or they call her Mother.
Mother.
Do they just reference her as Mother, or is she like a demon that they have summoned from the underworld?
I never thought of it like that. She could just be a demon from the underworld.
Either way, she's there.
And she hops in their little van and they travel across America waiting for eclipses.
Imagine that buddy comedy. Like,
oh, you should write it.
Yeah, she can't talk even. She's like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, she doesn't say words. She just screeches like a Fisher cat.
Yeah, she's a sight to behold, and she's wearing a robe and everything. I'm like, oh my god, yeah. They're all wearing robes. They're all in robes. So we get this demon mother, we get Mr. Ullman, Mrs. Ullman, and also the son they're all in this attic room as she's tied to the ground as demon mother is cascading blood into poor Samantha's mouth by the gallons. And Samantha somehow gets a hold of the knife and stabs the demon mother.
Well, you see the one rope is like brittle, and when Samantha's flipping, like you do see the rope break, and she
she gets the knife and stabs the demon mother, and it's like and is able to really untie herself and get the hell out of the attic.
This also goes back to how we were joking that this family is just like really bad at what they're doing because they like didn't properly tie her down, and that's she just like they're like bumbling Satanists.
But my thing was, it takes her a few seconds to untie her legs. Like they see what she's doing.
Right, yeah.
They don't try to stop her. They're just all standing. They're like, what do we do now?
What is Mr. fucking Allman going to do? Like he could get whisked away in a breeze. You think he's going to be able to like defend his frail body against like a 17-year-old girl who like just ate a hearty meal of pizza? Like, no, he's like fragile. He operates via cane.
Yeah, he's definitely not doing anything. Yeah. But that's the only critique I have of this moment is that like it seemingly they just kind of let her untie herself.
They let her go.
Yeah. I don't know if they're in shock or if they're in a trance or I don't know what's going on, but for some reason it does feel a little too easy.
Yeah, it's fair. And like Troy, I actually saw you make a comment to a response of one of our like listeners. They made a comment like they like the movie but they don't love it. And you responded by saying, yeah, if anything, like the final like finale, I wish it had a little more oomph. Or not even more oomph, but just was a little more. I would love give me 10 more minutes of this. I guess it would be one thing I'd say about this.
I basically, I know what you're talking about. I basically, and it's my biggest gripe with this movie. If I have any gripe, it's the fact that this climax doesn't really live up to the build-up the amount of build-up it took to get there. The climax seems, to me, it seems very rushed. It seems at points lazy, and I hate to say that because this film is so meticulously crafted and put together, but there are points to this where I think, okay, this is just kind of lazy or just like really, and it like letting her get away so easily. Was just sort of, I think, just to move the plot along, to move it to the ending of the film, to get there where they could have done something where it made a little bit more sense. Because like I said, if you watch this film, literally go back and watch this film, it takes her a long time to untie her legs. And you have 4 adults there watching her. And then she just runs past them. She runs down the stairs. Now the son, Victor, does chase her and eventually catches up to her. And there is this scene where this girl is fighting. Like she's not a, what the fuck was that bitch's name that I'm going to keep bringing up from Sorority House? Beth. It's not a Beth.
Right, every fucking episode.
I know. Every episode that we record from this point on is I'm bringing up somehow it's either going to be a pineapple dress or Beth. Trust me.
Eventually the actress that played Beth is going to get wind of our fucking podcast.
She's going to call us.
She's going to call us and she's going to complain. She's going to be pissed. But yeah, no, this, I think one of the standout aspects of the finale, I mean, to compare and contrast, is the fact that this point forward, Samantha is fight and flight. I mean, she gives her all during this finale. And she takes a beating. I mean, she gets shot. She gets impregnated by the devil. Like, a lot of shit happens here, but she keeps on trying, and I give her that. I wish this was longer just for the sake of I enjoy what they have. I would say maybe if there's any area where this movie had a relatively small budget, and if there's anywhere that I wonder if they were restricted due to budgetary limitations, it's this finale seance moment, everything within the basement, because it's pretty simple. Like, I mean, I was saying before, it's right by the books, pentagram, virgin sacrifice. It's everything you expect. The demon makeup looks pretty great, though. I will say that. Like,
yeah, she's terrifying. I do think like that's the thing about slow burns, right? It's like you need to earn your slow burn by delivering at the climax, and that's something we've been thinking about with Saint Drogo too, is like ours is a slow burn and we really have to execute this climax that we have planned like very well, like not fucking around. And so I remember when I first saw House of the Devil, I did like end up thinking like that felt a little quick. So I definitely don't disagree. So I do wish like there was maybe more of a struggle of her like getting out of the ropes or something. Maybe like, I don't know, someone tried to avenge her first or sooner rather, but yeah.
But on the other side of the coin, and this is actually based off something that you said earlier, Troy, is Ty West is very much acknowledged for his finales that are very frantic. And I think part of the reason this finale does move quick is it's not an overly elaborate ending, her trying to escape. I mean, at one point she does go up to the attic and everything, but when it comes down to it, people are just getting killed, and she's on to the next. You know, like, it's not like there's nothing left within the house to discover. There's nowhere left to explore. The sole goal is to get out of that house. And I think it's rushed, but it's also brutal. Like, the whole sequence that comes here, she runs up, you know, first of all, she literally, when she gets grabbed by AJ Bowen, she takes her thumb and, like a proper damsel, jabs her thumb into his eyeball, and she, like, pops his eyeball. Like, good on her, man. And then she runs up the steps, but he enters, and when she runs up the steps, she slips in a pool of blood, and she comes face to fucking face with Megan's dead body, which has no face. It's just a fucking pit.
Right.
Why did they bring that in the house?
Sacrifice? I mean, there's a lot of blood.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what I was wondering. They drag it in to leave it on the kitchen floor. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, probably to eventually dispose of it properly and not wanting to leave it out for someone else to find. But I mean, as for the story purposes, like, we need to have our heroine know that her friend died. Like, that's obviously why, like, they wrote it in. But yeah, like, why did the bumbling Satanists bring the body back in?
But there is the point where AJ Bowen catches up with her again, and he shoots her.
And without hesitation, he just raises the gun and right to the shoulder. Like, there's not like a moment of dialogue. There's no exposition. It's not like a speech before he shoots her. He sees her and he shoots her, and she drops to the floor.
Well, that's what I love about just the eye gouging and the shot, right? Like, it removes, like, sort of like, there's a realness to both those moments, because like the eye gouging is like in your flight response. I would probably go for the eyes too. Like, that would be the first place I'd go. And so, and I love no dialogue, just like shooting her. So I don't know, the while it feels rushed, I do think that there's like sort of a visceral, like, actually consideration of how humans would react in these moments. And I think eye gouging and shooting without some sort of like conversation is I don't know, pretty grisly, but pretty real.
And in saying, like, you know, that the movie is such a slow burn, when you hit this point in the movie, while it is again rushed, it also, I think, does it some favors in the fact that the tone shifts so drastically, the pacing shifts so drastically, and thus the intention shifts so drastically. It becomes like a completely different energy, and that does make for the finale to just have a whole different heft to it. That like, while I do get, Troy, like what you're saying with some of the people, what they have voiced with their issue with this film, I don't have that issue. I think the payoff exists for me. I would like to see a longer segment of it, maybe in like a director's cut. But as it stands, I still think it's a great fucking finale because this girl is just doing whatever it fucking takes.
Yeah, as he comes, because when he comes to shoot her again, she actually slashes his throat with the butcher knife that she has and basically kills him. So he's dead, but then she has to encounter Mrs. Ullman, who like drags her into a room, throws her on the floor, and's like, "You bitch, you might as well quit fighting. There's nothing you can do."
Yeah.
And then she goes and like stares out the window for a minute, and she's like, "Oh God, please grant me blah blah blah." And this is when we see her like wig fall off, and that she's bald, like sporadically bald, and there's just like strands of like gray hair sticking out of her head randomly. It's
yeah. It's also it's such an interesting like choice to have her do that, right? Like she's obviously trying to talk to her Dark Lord and like wants him to acknowledge her or answer her, and so she makes herself like super vulnerable, like pulls her wig off and you just see like this like grisly, terrifying woman, but yeah, to go from like coming up all elegant and wearing her furs to sort of like pulling her wig off and being like, "Please, like say something to me, Dark Lord," is, I don't know, I love that moment.
Yeah, her whole demeanor shifts from like, there's two times you see her. You have the moment of her with Samantha earlier in the movie where she has that confidence, like we were talking about, and that dominance towards Samantha, and overall, just her how she holds herself, how she speaks to her. There's like an elegance and eloquence to her dialogue. And now when when she chases Samantha up into the attic and knocks her down and everything, she's like, it's done for you, you little bitch. Like she's like gruff and like, swearing at her, and she's speaking with a completely different tongue. And it just kind of goes to show to like the act that she was putting on earlier, I think, and like you said, Mikey, like, yeah, and the in the eyes of her lord, her Dark Lord, she is completely willing to strip herself down and just put herself before him, which thus ends up being fatal for her, because as she's praying to her Dark Lord, all of a sudden she goes, "Huh!" and Samantha fucking stabs her right in the fucking back.
As she should, yeah. So, I mean, come on. These people are not the brightest. These are not the brightest fucking Satan worshipers we've ever seen, because why would you turn your back to a girl that you saw just slit your son's throat? So obviously she has no qualms killing to get free. Why would you go turn your back to her and stand in a window for 5 minutes? Well, she's behind.
But one thing to acknowledge with that moment, Troy, is when she gets Samantha on the ground, Samantha starts having that, like, one of those attacks. Whatever steps of the ritual have taken place, enough of it has occurred that Samantha is starting to basically fall under the effects of it, which include really graphic visions of
the face of the
grandmother demon from downstairs, whose face is like progressively mutating more and more as the flashes go on.
Yeah, I noticed that there was different shots of like her face. Like it felt like, and there, I don't know, like there was, even in the credits it says like blue demon, like red, and there's different actors for it. So it's interesting that there's like other permutations of whatever's happening to her.
But I'm still not turning my back to her.
Oh, understood, for sure. But there is one moment when Mrs. Ullman has her on the ground that she does say it's going to work in spite of
you.
And she puts her hand on her stomach. And this is the first time you really start to get an idea that the whole idea of something inside of her.
Yeah.
After the ritual, there's something growing inside of her, which it actually does end up being the case, obviously. And that one specific line from Mrs. Ullman, it's going to work in spite of you, is a very specific line that stands out to me at this point, because it is the truth. It is exactly what happens. She does kill Mrs. Ullman, and she takes off from the house. And as she's running down the driveway, Mr. Ullman somehow is still alive. I mean, like, this man would not survive a fatal stabbing, but here he is.
He's just so tall.
And he pulls the knife from his gut, and there's this moment when you see, like, all of the blood just pour out by his feet, like in like a trail.
Right.
Ugh, like for some reason that moment really got me. It's ugh.
I also love that she's just like covered in blood, and it's giving, even though it's like not exactly the same, I was getting a lot of Carrie vibes like from it, like the way she was like holding herself and the way that things were like the white or formerly white dress was like draped on her. Reminded me a lot of Carrie too.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of little nods to films of the era, because also the way the flashes are handled as she's having these demonic attacks are very similar to the way that they cut the flashes of is Pazuzu in an Exorcist. Those flashes of the face, it's very similar. It very much feels like a homage.
She gets out of the house. She gets out of the house. She runs to the cemetery, and Mr. Ullman is right behind her. And you get kind of their little final showdown in the cemetery where she is, adamant that he stay away from her. And he's like, just listen to me. Just listen to me. This was meant to be. This is how it's going to be. You can't really do anything about it. So you might as well just accept it. And she has a gun and she's pointing at him. And she's like, you can shoot me, but it's not going to make a difference. It's what's done is done. And then you get kind of an ending that I wasn't really expecting. I don't know about you guys, but it's kind of it doesn't go the route that you think it's going to go.
Yeah, I did not expect her to attempt to take her own life. That was very shocking for me when I first watched it. I remember, and also I think I don't know. It's like very like, I don't want to say brave, but it's almost like hopeless for her, right? At this point, because she's believing all these things they're saying, like it's going to work in spite of you, and this is meant to be. And it's almost like her, I don't know, she's like, she can't fight any longer, right?
Well, yeah, she's continuously having these like flashes and attacks, and they're getting progressively worse. And everything they're saying at this point, I think she's feeling. I mean, she feels she's gripping her stomach at a certain point. She's getting like physically affected by whatever's happening. So I think it's becoming clear to her what is going on. It's a bummer to me that like she made, during this whole final segment of defending herself, she made all the right choices, including grabbing the gun. Like, how many times have you sat there and said, grab the gun, and they don't grab the weapon, they don't grab the gun. And here you have a girl who does, and she's getting away. And then the fact that she ends up turning and having to turn it on herself it's a hard pill to swallow. And I'm not saying it makes the movie any worse. It just makes it like, this is not a movie with a happy ending. This is not a character that I ever would have wanted to have seen have a finale that is anything but positive for them. And she's having a horrible outcome. She ends up turning the gun on herself, blasting her, shooting herself through the head. And like, this girl, all she wanted was like money to pay rent. Like, she is a child. She's a baby. And you have her in this horrible situation where she's now impregnated with devil spawn. Like, it really is one of those endings that it is heavy. It's heavy.
It's heavy, and I think like it just also comes back to how I was saying that was always positioned against these other characters of being like morally right and like having her head on in the right place and like wanting to work like for the money and not just be given it. And to have her like come to this fate is just more heart-wrenching because like we care about her and we've seen that she's a good person.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it does lead to one final scene, which is honestly even sadder.
Well, because she didn't die. And to me, I'm sorry, that headshot that she did to herself looked pretty deadly to me. I mean, you see the bullet come out the other side of her head. Like, you see her put it to her temple, pull the trigger, and you see it come out the other side. So how she's alive, unless it's part of the whole devil being inside her, that she's living as a vessel for this baby. That is the only thing I can think of, because there's no way she survived that gunshot.
Right.
But she's in the hospital. She's all bandaged up, and basically the nurse comes in and it's like, "Oh, you poor thing, but you're gonna be okay. Both of you." And then she pats her stomach, and the fucking credits start to roll.
Oh my god. But this is why I said a little bit earlier, the one line really is prominent to me, and in this moment especially, it's prominent to me, because I was thinking the same thing, Troy. You see, when she shoots herself in the head, you get the full, like, her hair blows on the other side, like, it went through her brain. I'm sorry. she should die. But as Mrs. Ullman said right before she was stabbed in the back, it's going to work in spite of you. I do feel that her surviving this gunshot is not any twist of fate. It is for a reason. And I mean, poor girl's probably gonna be a vegetable through the whole process, but she's delivering that fucking baby. Like, that baby's going to survive this. The devil will make sure of it, and then she'll probably die immediately after. But yeah, I mean, what a womp womp note to end the movie on, you know? Whew.
Yeah, it's not the happiest of endings we've seen by far. It's pretty bleak because you like this character so much. If this character wasn't so damn likable, if it was anybody else but this character, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that sucks, but I wouldn't really stick with me as much as it does because this character is so likable and portrayed so well.
But you feel something at the end of it. Like, you feel mad that she is in the situation. And I think if you're going to feel upset about that, that means that they did do something right in making sure that that character was fucking likable. Because, yeah, she was a great character. I'm bummed that happened to her. That's good storytelling to make me feel that way about a fictional character. Like, it's a sad finale, but it's a fucking effective one.
And the credits are very much in vein of the opening credits, where it's just very 70s style. You get the credits rolling over, like the freeze frame of her laying in bed, which was a very 70s, 80s type of thing to do. And that's the film ends. That's The House of the Devil. It's an hour and 28 minutes long.
Of pure suspense.
There is that part of the film, like I said, that I pointed out that I think maybe loses some people, but I still think it's a brilliant film.
Yeah, and Mikey, thank you for picking it. We appreciate it. I've been waiting to analyze that one, but I have a list of like 40 titles, and I'm always like, oh, which one do I want to pick this week? And I always am like, I've put it off, but like I think it was the right group of people to talk about it with. And I love knowing that you love that film too, and that totally makes sense. And thank you for joining us on this episode.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, super. It's just, it's a film that over time I realized has definitely like inspired a lot of my writing and how I look at pacing and how I look at like suspense, and it was also inspiring in the sense that it was like, obviously it still had a lot of money in retrospect to how much money we had, but it was still very economical, and they accomplished a lot with, by film standards, normally is very little, right? I think it was made under $1 million, which is pretty much unheard of. So yeah, I think up and coming and like inspiring filmmakers, young filmmakers that like want to execute a horror movie should definitely watch House of the Devil.
Oh fuck yeah, I mean, like, if this is an inspiration to go out and do it on a small scale, on a small budget, and that you can be successful in doing as such, I mean, like, I can't think of a better example. This movie really proves what you can do with a few, like a small amount of quality locations, a small yet talented cast, and a great script. And you don't need a lot more than that to pull it off. You just need to know how to execute suspense.
No, I would say this film, like, yeah, for aspiring filmmakers, if I were to list like 2 films that I think you should check out to kind of get an idea of how to build suspense and whatnot, it would be this one paired with Session 9.
Oh yeah. Also a New England horror movie.
Connecticut, right? Danvers. Is it Connecticut?
I think that's Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Danvers, Massachusetts.
That's another slow burn that uses its location very effectively. You have a very tiny cast. It's very similar to this film. So I would say, House of the Devil, Session 9, pair those together to learn how to build suspense, how to work with limited budget, limited location, limited resources, because the film's pulled off great. But yeah, I'm so glad I got to watch this again. It'd been a while. It's a great film. And, it's hard to top this film, Roger, but I think we're doing it for our next episode.
Sweet.
I think we found the film.
Absolutely. Oh, I know what it is. Are we telling them what it is?
We are going to tell them what it is.
Okay, let's hear it.
It is the masterpiece of indie horror. It's the 2000 slasher flick, Bloody Murder.
Oh.
Iconic.
Good choice.
Followed by a significantly better sequel, Bloody Murder 2, which we are not covering next week. We're only covering Bloody Murder.
But we needed something. We did, what did we do last week? I totally forgot.
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill. Okay, see, we're just churning these episodes out. I can't even remember what we're doing. We did Silent Hill and this, so we needed something a little bit lighthearted and just not and fluff.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And Bloody Murder is just ridiculous, so we're gonna have fun with that.
And I do just want to say, speaking of aspiring filmmakers, I don't know if he's going to announce it, so I'm going to announce it for him. Troy has an Indiegogo dropping very soon. By very soon, I mean tomorrow, correct? For us, tomorrow. When this drops, it'll be out already. For us
tomorrow, but who knows when this will be? Yeah, it'll be out. Check it out.
Yeah, so Troy is launching the Indiegogo for his next feature film endeavor, Hollow Lake. So all you gays need to get on board that and support him because from one indie filmmaker to another, it's tough. Mikey, I know you get that as well.
It is tough, yeah.
Mikey, I want to give you one more chance to kind of just rattle off like your social medias and everything, and what sites and what apps and all, what different platforms they can support you or follow you or watch your film. Give it to them one more time so they don't forget.
Yeah, Death Drop Gorgeous is pretty easy to find on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you just search Death Drop Gorgeous, you'll find us. It's the bright pink one. And you can watch Death Drop Gorgeous on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Vudu, all that good stuff. If you want to follow the progress of Saint Drogo, we're also on Facebook and Instagram with that. And then we started our own little production company called Monster Makeup Productions, which is also on the same social media. So we'll be doing features, but we also we've been doing like music videos for local musicians and some other fun, probably some local events once like COVID is actually officially over. So yeah.
Yeah, so check it out for sure.
Oh, yeah, man. Awesome. Everybody follow them and say you followed them before they became really famous, because I'm convinced if Death Drop Gorgeous is getting the kind of love and attention it's getting now, whatever you guys have come after this is just going to get bigger for you. So it's exciting to know you guys back when and support you through this process, because I think you guys have a lot of really awesome things coming.
Oh, thank you.
And I definitely wish you the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, it's what's been most exciting, and like you guys are a part of this, is like getting to meet other queer filmmakers and folks that are just like so welcoming and so encouraging. So thank you for having me, and thank you for doing what you're doing. Like it's nice to be a part of this sort of like what feels like a little weird little community of of queers that love horror. So yeah, thank you for doing what you're doing.
It is. It's very much a community.
It's so weird, but it's cool. Everyone I know is weird, but they're also fucking kick-ass. So I'm weird. I blend well with weird people. But yeah, man, seriously, we're excited for you. And everybody, go check out their film. Go follow his social media profiles. Make sure to support Troy in these next few coming weeks. And I also have my film Rebirth is officially hitting pre-order for physical release on DVD and Blu-ray this weekend, this Sunday. We literally just announced it at midnight yesterday. So this is brand new news, but you can get yourself a hard one of Rebirth. So yeah, physical release is coming. So lots of exciting news for all of us. This is great.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, seriously. And on that note, next week, guys, we're going to be discussing Bloody Murder.
Oh, I can't wait for that one. All right. Well, you all have a great evening. And yeah, until next week.
Until next week. Thank you, Mikey. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, gentlemen.
Bye.